Do you like alchemy? Do you want Henry to have all these sweet perks in the matter of time? It's really not that hard. All you gotta do is get into the lab and start grinding away, and you can have all these perks and start access to a bunch of potions that are just overpowered in this game. But anyways, stop on by and I'll tell you about how the heck this alchemy works. So we're starting at the very beginning of the game. That's the most fair part you could do. Henry has nothing. He just told Hans Capon to screw off, and we're going to become an alchemy master in no time, which you can basically do from this starting village. And there's nothing really you can do. Shut up, Barbara. I'm trying to do stuff. Anyways, you start out here, you have nothing, you are nothing, and you can just drop all these items. You don't really need to have them anyways. And we're going to be naked all this entire time because why not? We don't need clothes. But anyways, you start off at level 7 alchemy, generally 6 or 7, and you start off with 1 perk if you want. Basically, if you're going to pick any of the ones starting out, pick potion seller to start out with. You're going to be selling a lot of potions, especially if you be grinding those levels up. At the very beginning of the game, you should start out with 2 different recipes. You'll have one for the Savior Snops in your book icon. You can click it right there. You can learn the potion. You don't technically know it already, but you just learn it. Select the option there. And then the other one you do know is the chamomile decoction. I believe Botswana teaches you that one. And you can check all the recipes you do know in your inventory menu. If you go to the top, you can see crafting selected. If you collect crafting, it will take you to this menu as long as you select potions up there, and you're all good. This will tell you exactly what Henry knows at this time. And he knows 2 of them, chamomile decoction. Remember this one, we're going to be using it quite a bit. And so what we need for this is that we need chamomile and sage. So let's go over there and let's go find what we need. And essentially a 5-second walk from where you start the game, there's this little herb garden right here that has chamomile and it has sage right here. So go down there, start picking up all the chamomile and everything else you need out here to actually start brewing these potions. It's fairly easy. It's free to do and nobody stops you for a crime, even though you're stealing everything they have. And the main difference between Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 actually has the herbs actually have a condition meter on them, and they actually decay over time. So when you pick them, they'll start to decay. How fast is that decay? So for every 1 game hour, you basically lose about 1 to 2 conditions on there. It says 1 right here, but really it's like 1.5 or something that per an hour. It's not that fast. There is a perk in the game that you start out with that you can pick, the Art of Preservation, which basically drops the herbs and raw foods from spoiling by 50% or makes it 50% slower. It's really not worth taking. Do not pick this perk at the beginning of the game. It's probably better later on because then you're more lazy, but right now you're going to be making potions out of all the herbs you pick right away anyway, so don't bother with this. And if you're wondering how long does herbs take to grow back in the garden, they usually take about 5 to 6 days. It's kind of weird on the timing there. Chamomile seems to take 5 days, sage takes 6, so some of the other herbs are faster, a lot of them are faster. Roughly 5 to 6 in-game days is what you're looking for them to grow back. So don't be too panicked about picking them, they will come back eventually.
Put some clothes on. You can't just go walking about like this.
Shut up, lady. Just for that, I'm just taking everything you have here. I'm not going to leave you a single flower. But anyways, if you go back to the crafting menu that you have there, what I really love about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it tells you exactly how many potions you can make. We can make 21 chamomile decoctions just from that 1 herb garden section. And what's even better, that there's an alchemy bench just right across from where you steal all those herbs from. And it's right here. It's literally down the street where you start. And what's even better too is that you actually have a free recipe book you can take. It's free to take, it's not stealing. And what's also not stealing is using this alchemy bench. They let you use any of the alchemy benches for free except the one upstairs by the shop. Apparently he's very picky about that. But anyways, Henry will put back down his book with the recipe on there, and you can actually open up the book. The book is kind of annoying, so I kind of suggest that you kind of know which potions you want to cook, but here you go. The book contains all the known recipes that you know, and we're just going to go straight to the chamomile decoction. So here, the chamomile decoction is actually telling us that we need to add wine, 2 handfuls of chamomile, and a handful of sage. But then there's also all the other instructions that we have to take into consideration. Like it wants us to add the chamomile and boil for 1 turn, then grind the sage, and then add it to the cauldron and finally pour. This is a really simple recipe, and I would suggest any person just starting out to do this one. It doesn't get much simpler than this. So we're gonna start this out. We're gonna hit E, prepare. It's gonna put all the items we need out here that we need. And all the options you see up here, there's wine, there's oil, there's water, and there's spirits. These are free to use. You don't have to do anything else with it, and you can actually just use them anytime. So your very first potion, do not worry about if you make a bad potion. Just kind of get up there and use it. So we're going to be adding our chamomile into the wine. Make sure to add both of the chamomile in there before you start boiling it. And boiling starts when you actually drop the pot onto the fire itself, not waiting till it starts bubbling or anything else like that. It starts boiling there. I usually like to add the sage just into the mortar and pestle bowl so I could do that. So now the boiling technically started, and here I didn't keep a timer off of here, and that's kind of a problem because it's only supposed to boil for 1 turn, and 1 turn lasts 10 seconds. The timer right there is the hourglass, and it's kind of a pain. So right here I'm rushing it, trying to make it go as fast as possible, and then all you gotta do is just grab one of the vials there in the corner. The vials will actually are free to use, not a big problem. There we go, we got ourselves a potion. Unfortunately, it's a weak potion because I made a lot of mistakes.
I should have boiled that sage on a smaller fire.
So you heard that. Henry will give you a lot of different tips here and there about if you screwed up in the potion. There it said I boiled the sage too long. In the recipe it says that you shouldn't boil the sage at all. So anytime the sage spins on the fire there, even though it's very little, is a problem. So that's one mistake that we made. Now here's something you could do. Instead of going to the book, I actually just went straight to the inventory list to pull out all the herbs. Since I already know the recipe by heart, I just can pull them, put them onto the shelf and pick them out however I need. So now the sage and chamomile are up there. So I'm going to do this again, but I'm not going to screw up that one part and boil the sage too long. So there we go. We're going to put our 2 chamomile in there. And this time before I start boiling it, I just turn the hourglass over. The hourglass is worth about 10 seconds there. You can count it yourself. And there, once you drop it, it should start boiling. So you can see that it ticks down. Once it ticks down, I raise it back up because the sage does not need to actually be boiled. And that is kind of the key to actually making a better potion. So there you go. Now we're going to see what type of potion we made. All we did different there was just putting the fire or putting the pot up from the fire. And it makes all the world of difference there. So now we got a regular potion there. And it works out great. Now let's listen to what Henry has to say to us.
I didn't boil that chamomile long enough.
Yep, so probably what happened was that I turned the hourglass first before I put the boiling pot down. Usually putting the boiling pot down first, then flipping the hourglass is usually the better way of doing it. And then just taking 1 or 2 seconds the pot off before then, because you got to remember once you flip that hourglass it takes a little time off. But anyways, what's most important, we got an extra perk here, and this is a very important thing to do because this will make your leveling go a lot faster. The perk that we want to pick is the secret of equilibrium. This will actually allow you to make a mistake in alchemy, but it will cover it up so you still get a better potion overall. So instead of getting a weak potion, you would get a normal potion or a strong one. While the other perk, Secrets of Matter, is pretty tempting where it gives you 1 extra potion for every time you brew an alchemy, this does not increase the amount of experience you gain just because you made more potions. Take the Secrets of Equilibrium starting out because you want to guarantee that you're making stronger potions as you go along. So let's take this one and I'll show you what I mean. And give me that potion. Let's see how that Secrets Equilibrium works out. Strong chamomile. Good job. See? Little changes there. That Secrets Equilibrium changes everything, going from a basic to a strong. And so the difference between a weak and a strong potion is based on mistakes here. So you can see here on this chart, there's 4 different levels of potions. There's a weak that if you do 2 mistakes, you get a weak potion. You do a normal, and normal means you made 1 mistake, and a strong potion means you made 0 mistakes. There's also a top level, level 4 potion, which is the Henry level potion, and that is if you make 0 mistakes too. But if you have the level 16 perk, you'll make the Henry potion, and that's what you want to make later on in the game once you get to level 16. Yeah, and there's different types of mistakes you can make. Like for example, if you forget to distill, or either you keep heating the potion when it's longer, that's a -1. Use dry herbs, that's a -1. Use old herbs, that's another -1. Those mistakes can be covered over by using Secrets of Equilibrium or using different perks that you get along the way. So watch out for that, and that's kind of like how you know what type of quality you can get and what you can kind of get away with in the game. And bringing up the mistakes here, it's very important that you know that bad herbs or dry herbs in your inventory can cause mistakes in your alchemy. So when you auto prepare your ingredients for doing alchemy on the bench, it will select bad or dried herbs for you to use, and sometimes that will affect your quality. So always go to your inventory and pick out the best herbs you can have, or either toss out the bad herbs you have in your inventory. Do not carry dried herbs, do not carry bad herbs with you. I believe herbs, once they get to about 50 in condition, they start going bad. and you don't want to carry them. But basically just drop them on your pack. Sell them, do whatever you can, but get rid of them. Now, for terms of leveling, why is it important to make good potions? And it's really simple. Better potions give you more experience. Making different potions doesn't give you more experience. One type of potion over another doesn't give you more. And if you make a normal potion, you get about 72 experience points. But if you make a strong potion, you get 132 experience points. And so here is the chart that you need to level up. If we were starting at level 6, it would take 13,800 experience points to reach level 30. And if you were just making normal potions all the way from level 6 to 30, you would need 191 alchemy trips doing that for making normal potions. Compared to if you're making strong potions the entire time, you would need 104 times making potions to reach level 30. So it's quite a bit of a difference there. You'd rather be making a lot less potions to reach level 30. That's why I say the Secrets of Equilibrium, it's a much better perk to take early on, especially leveling up. And just to cover the bases, that Henry level potions do not give you more experience points for crafting. Strong is the most you could get, it's 132 experience points. So now here in the background, I'm just preparing the simple chamomile decoction potion. I'm going to see how long it takes to actually craft. And so this is starting from my inventory, adding the ingredients onto the shelf, and actually crafting the potion. And this is kind of just a rough time, but usually it takes about 1:20. Everybody's going to be a little bit different depending on the clicks and how you touch different things, but you should probably look at about 1:30 for one of the simpler potions around. You can always make things shorter by timing things out, by putting things to a boil, boiling, and kind of timing all that. But roughly you should expect about 1:30 for each potion crafted. And this is important because of the time again as well. So if you did only normal quality potions at 1:30 per, would take you about 4.8 hours of alchemy just to get to level 30. Compared to making strong quality potions at 1:30 per, will take you 2.6 hours to get to level 30. This is all rough on there. So that is exactly why I say Secrets of Equilibrium early on to avoid the mistakes, and leveling up your alchemy as it goes along is extremely important. It saves you so much time. Even if you're taking your sweet butt time, it will save you time in the long run. Try to make the better quality potions, take your time. Speaking of time, here's a couple things that you could use for your own knowledge if you're making alchemy, and you can make your own decisions off of here. Grinding herbs usually takes about 9 seconds. The hourglass timing or boiling time takes about 10 seconds. So use whatever you want with that knowledge. You do not have to turn the hourglass over every time if you can count in your own head and figure out how long the reaction needs to boil. It also should be mentioned that there's about a 2 or 3 second delay of adding herbs into the pot, so watch out for that, because if you're trying to skip a step by just adding herbs in there while it's still boiling and you think you can mess with the game like that, it'll still count as a mistake, so watch out for that. You should probably just remove the pot from the heat so you don't make a mistake of the potion, and then add the herbs in afterwards. I know it takes a little bit longer, but in the long term, your main thing, if you're grinding out experience points, just take the extra 5 seconds to lift the pot up, then add the stuff in there. So one of the main reasons we're actually making all these potions is to level alchemy. Alchemy, all it really gives you when you level up, it allows you to make more mistakes in the potions. It don't know exactly what levels give you like a +1 or make it easier, what the timing is off of that, but in general, it just makes it easier for you to make potions and make stronger potions, even if you make mistakes. But what we're really after when doing alchemy are the perks. Overall, there are 13 normal alchemy perks in there, including one hidden perk, which is the Lab Dweller perk. And here, all it is, Lab Dweller perk, you can pick up at around level 10, essentially being inside making alchemy potions, and this should trigger for you automatically. Basically, it gives you the effects of potions and alcohol will last longer, and you eventually hangovers will be shorter. It's not the greatest overall, but essentially, it's free. Why not? You can't sniff yourself away from a free perk. So Lab Dweller, alright, you're probably going to get it if you're making tons of potions. It's perfectly fine. The Art of Preservation is a perfectly fine perk overall. Essentially all it does is that all your raw food and your herbs spoil 50% slower. It's not the greatest one. I wouldn't take this in the early stages, but maybe later on. It's a nice to have perk, and you're going to have plenty of points later on to just take it. So next we got Potion Seller. Honestly, it's not the greatest perk I ever do because I never really sell my potions, but you can, early on, if you're trying to make easy money, take this perk. It's probably one of the best first perks you should probably take in the game. It basically lets you sell potions for 30% more. Not bad, but it's not game breaking in any sense like that. Secrets of Equilibrium is probably the best perk to take once you get to level 8. Take this right away, especially if you want to grind up to higher levels, get to level 30 or even level 16. Essentially allows you to make an extra mistake in the alchemy process. One of the best things to do, get it right away, and you can remove it later on once it's outlived its purpose. There is a Secrets of Equilibrium level 2 later on, which basically gives you way more tolerance for your mistakes. Honestly, it's, you can create some really wacky scenarios and make potions really fast, but then again, the next perk I'll be talking about is way better to take later on. So the second level of Secrets of Equilibrium, not worth it. And this brings me into Secrets of Matter, which is a perk that starts off at level 8. It gives you 1 extra potion of the same quality, but you have to take it over Secrets of Equilibrium, which, like I said before, you want to level up, so Secrets of Equilibrium and level 8 would be better. But Secrets of Matter level 2 you could still take, which will give you 2 extra potions for a successful brew of the same quality, which is way better than taking Secrets of Equilibrium level 2. So kind of balance this out back and forth. The Secrets of Equilibrium part 2 don't take, Secrets of Matter level 2 take. And this brings me into 2 of the best perks in the tree. That's Poison Specialist 1 and Poison Specialist 2. Honestly, all they really give you is that they allow you to poison more arrows or bolts, and also have poison on your weapon last a lot longer. But really, they're really nice for keeping your blades, keeping your arrows poisoned. And poison in this game is absolutely broken, so I would take these perks. Next on the list is Purple Haze level 1 and Purple Haze level 2. All they do is that every effective potion that you have active, or alcohol effect as well, you gain 1 and plus 2 vitality for each level that you have. So it's basically like a plus 3 vitality overall for just 1 potion, which is nice, but if you plan to drink a lot of potions, it'll be pretty good. Early on in the game, it's not too bad, especially if you want to raise your vitality. It could really stack, but you're going to be downing potions for a while. If you're downing potions for a while, those extra bonuses, they come into nice to have, but it's not my favorite. So take them if you have extra points and nothing else catches your eye. An absolute garbage perk to take is Enthusiast. I wouldn't take this unless I actually had extra points. While brewing potions, your energy will slowly replenish and your nourishment will not decrease. Honestly, energy is not a big deal. That's what alcohol is for. You could just do that or make a cockerel potion. This is not the best thing I would want to take. It's nice to have, but honestly, it's a garbage perk. I wouldn't take it. Next, Dark Art Apprentice is probably one of the more interesting ones to take. So between the times of midnight and 4:30 in the morning, you will actually get a +1 bonus for alchemy, where you don't make mistakes or whatever else you want to do. But also, what's the more interesting part is that you get a +2 to certain speech checks you have down here. Now, I believe it's only between midnight and 4:30 that you get this bonus. You'll see the Dark Art Apprentice activate, so watch out for that. There's also a random encounter, I believe, that's tied to this perk, so watch out for that. That's pretty fun to see as well. This perk's pretty good. Take it and you enjoy it. Special Powder is an interesting one. If you're using guns, this is definitely one you would take. It gives you a 20% decrease in basically the efficiency of the firearm, so I'm guessing it's reload time off of there. But reloading a gun takes about 10 seconds, so 20% of that is 2 seconds off. Not bad, but then again, guns are pretty terrible, so I'm not a big fan of this perk just because I'm not a fan of the guns, but that's up to you. Water of Life is an interesting perk. I would take it all the time, but then again, all it doesn't heal you for 25% more, it heals you 25% faster. So that means if you're in the middle of combat, you pop a potion, you'll be able to heal up faster. It is perfectly fine. It's not great, it's not terrible, and absolutely the best perk out of this tree. Probably, I would almost dare, probably the top perk out of the entire game is Secret of Secrets. Essentially, this allows you to brew, when you brew strong potions, instead you'll brew the Henry potions, which are godlike. They are incredible. I cannot emphasize enough. This gets out at level 16. You take this perk at level 16. You never take any other perk other than this. Basically, I would just grind to alchemy to level 16 just to have this perk and to be able to make all the special potions you have on there. They are insane for the most part. And there's one potion in particular that everybody loves, and it's super overpowered. Henry Fox potion gives you increased speech by 7, which is incredible. And then it increases your reading speed and everything else. But that's not what you want. The end part right there is that you gain 50% more experience for 2 days straight. This potion is insane and broken. This is the most broken potion I've ever seen. They need to nerf it, and I'm saying that a lot. So I don't know if they're going to patch this down or something like that, but 50% is stupid good. So this is what you got to do. This is why alchemy is the best. This is the best tree out of the entire game. And this might be a little bit of a spoiler for you, but this is something to keep in mind. If you do not have the recipe in your book or you haven't learned it yet, you could still make the potion yourself. You do not need to know the recipe at all. So you can actually just know how to make it by some magical force outside the world and just make the potion without knowing the recipe in the game. And then once you learn it, once you do the potion once, a recipe goes into your book and you're good to go. And this will help out on alchemy a lot up here in this region, right in the starting area where Henry's at. And that thing where I'm pointing at is that's where you'll find belladonna. Belladonna is a pretty rare ingredient to have, so really it's not that far from the starting point. You go straight up north, left side of the castle, moving straight up. Right there you'll find a bunch of belladonna. Belladonna is a little bit hard to identify, so it sort of looks like this is a bush. There's a bunch of nettle down here, but this is belladonna right here. Sometimes some plants have the same model, or they look like this have the same model, and I can't pick them, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. Plus their targeting is a little off, but there's a bunch of belladonna up here. I think I got about 55 up here in this same region, so that's a lot of belladonna. So if you need it, you have more than you need. And remember, it takes about 6 days for it to grow back, so you can go always search for more areas for belladonna, but you can get this all in the starting area, no problem. Also, cobwebs is used for one of the ingredients, but directly south of where you start at, there's an abandoned house that you have out here, and you can get all the cobwebs you could ever need. There's some wild dogs out here, so it's a problem, but go inside the house, grab the key, and then you go up into the raptors up here, and you can find 47 cobwebs. More than you ever need to make potions, and there you go. Cobwebs are pretty hard to find. And one more last piece. This might actually get fixed with the next patch that Warhorse is talking about, but there is a problem where I'm trying to put things onto the shelf or things disappear. If, like, see how I have 2 sage, but it's not showing up on the shelf, it looks like the bug is when you have less than 3 in your inventory, it won't go onto the shelf sometimes. So I'm not exactly sure that what it is, but it's a bug. Just grab more ingredients outside and it should fix itself. There is another hidden perk I'll show off. It's with nettle. If you picked a bunch of nettle, you'll get a hidden perk off of here. So we're going to see how many it actually takes. I know it's not technically alchemy, but it gets kind of tied into alchemy. Basically, you want to pick nettle by hand. You don't want any gloves on or anything else to kind of hide the pain. Once you get over 200, once you get 200 nettle, it shows up in survival. There you go. So you get the survival perk. This is kind of attached to alchemy just because you're going to be gathering herbs. With 200 nettle will get you +2 permanently to your vitality. So especially at the beginning, you might as well get it. It's super great. So that is all I have for you about alchemy. There's a lot more to go off of there, but I try to keep it as short as possible. But I hope this helps you out a lot with your own alchemy journey. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, have a good one. And goodbye. Alchemy is the most broken skill out of this entire game. Just try it out. It's so broken. Henry, what's going on here? Alright, Henry. Well, Henry, what are you doing? Well, you know, way to be above the grain here.